Hey everybody, welcome to Eureka Springs channel. I'm Melody Purdy, your host, and you're coming to you live from Eureka Springs, Arkansas, where we reach out to our community to talk about all of the good people, the good places, and the good news of Eureka. And this afternoon I have with me Kelly McDonough, who is with ESSA, the Eureka Springs School of the Arts. You guys welcome her to the screen. Kelly.
Hi.
All right, Kelly, I'm so glad you're doing this with me every month. I love to check in now what's going on out at ESSA. You guys are always doing something new and fresh and exciting. And today, let's talk about. I was thinking about. I just asked you before we went live what number year you're on
Yeah.
there at ESSA as the director. But you kind of coming up on this monumental moment there in general at ESSA. You want to talk about that a little bit with folks so you can talk about that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're coming up on the 25th anniversary of ESSA, as a matter
Mm.
of fact. So this is our silver anniversary as a school, which is a big, exciting deal. When I came in, so I've been here 6 years, so I got to celebrate the 20th anniversary right after I started. And then so much has happened in 5 years. It's kind of amazing. And now here we are at the 25th anniversary. So yeah, it's been really awesome. We're always doing something really fun here. So I guess today what I kind of want to talk people through, it's been 25 years, a lot has happened. And even before that, there's a lot of history that sort of led up to the formation of the school. And some people aren't necessarily aware of all of that. So I thought,
Yes,
here
let's
we are
dive.
celebrating 25 years. Let's look back and see
Let's do
what the
it.
past was. Yeah, so I love this picture. This picture here in the center, this is Lewis and Elsie Friend. And they are two very, very renowned American artists. And for people who live here in Eureka, they were also very dear friends to many people in Eureka.
They were,
They were
yeah.
here in town. They moved here in 1939. They were here and active in the art scene until the 90s. And so they were friends and mentors to many, many of the artists who still live here in town, who really built this into an arts destination. So when they came at the end of the Depression, they came to Eureka Springs. They purchased the Carrie Nation House, Hatchet Hall, and it was about to just fall down. They bought it for some, really small sum and restored it and turned that into the first art school in Eureka Springs, which was the art school of the Ozarks. And we have one of their old flyers, which I just love, this, hand drawn rendering of the town that operated from 1940 to 1951. So going all the way back to the 40s, there's a history of art education here in town. And they, like I said, they were really renowned artists. And you can see here in town still some of Lewis's murals. He traveled the country with the WPA, doing murals all over the country
Mm-hmm.
during the Depression. And this picture here is one that if you've been to Eureka Springs, you've definitely seen that mural. And
Yep.
that's a Lewis Friend that he painted here in the 70s.
It takes up
Um,
the whole wall of that building. It's amazing
it's hard to
space.
tell from that picture how
Yeah,
huge that is.
yeah,
It is
it
enormous.
is.
And Elsie, they were both painters and printmakers, and she did a lot of weaving, but she is really famous now for her jewelry making. She has pieces in the Smithsonian, highly collectible. This picture, she came up with a really cool process of putting fused glass on top of ceramics. Lewis would call it Elsa-ramics, and so that's what that is. We consider them to be our sort of our ancestors of ESSA, really. So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you go to the next picture, you can see this was in 1977, the Eureka Springs Guild of Artists and Craftspeople were formed. And those figures, some people might recognize that. That is the ESSA logo.
Yeah.
And that was designed in 1977 by Elsie Friend. So those are
Wow.
her figures. And we have some original lino cut blocks where she did those figures
Mm-hmm.
for it, which is really just such like a cool,
It
cool
is very
thing.
cool.
So yeah, in 1977, a bunch of the local artists got together, and Lewis and Elsie and Hank Kaminsky, and just a lot dozens of the artists who were here at that time got together and formed the Guild of Artists and Craftspeople. And three of those people were Doug Stowe and Eleanor Lux and Mary Springer,
Right.
who then remained instrumental in 1998. The guild sort of dissolved, and the energy then was turned to the formation of ESSA in 1998. So there's this thread, and I love these pictures of Doug and Mary and Eleanor. We found those in some old newspaper clippings that we have in our archive from the 90s.
Have they seen these pictures you found?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Now they will.
Doug actually Doug
has.
First
comment, like, boy, they look so young.
I know. I love them. I love them.
That's so sweet.
So yeah, if you go to the next picture. So the school was formed in 1998, and then the first 6 years it was just in their studios and other artist studios around. And then in 2004, the school got one building and 1 acre, and it was our founders building. And so this is the building that you see when you kind of drive by,
right there on the road.
Highway. And then there's Doug and Mary and Eleanor. This was back in I want to say 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
That we did that. It's our picture in front of the founders building, and that was the entire school for a good amount of time.
Right.
Everything, ceramics, painting, drawing, everything.
Everything happened in one roof.
We did. And then woodworking we did over at Clear Spring School. We did welding in the parking lot behind the building. I mean, just everything happened in the one building. We still use it. I mean, there's a class in there today. So still our 2D studio. And so then if you go to the next one, then we started kind of growing a little bit. And the first purpose-built building that the school added was the small metal studio. And this is the current version of it. But when it was first built, it wasn't air conditioned. It didn't have running water. It was just a space, a covered space. It wasn't until maybe several years later that the water and the air AC and everything was added on a few years later. Little by little, that's it. And then a couple years after that, we got a few more acres with plans to put the iron studio. And then a couple years after that, we got the big chunk of the campus, which is another 40 acres. And that brought our campus to about 50 acres at that point.
A lot of people don't recognize that it goes that far back on the land there, with that frontage there, that many acres.
It is. It goes all the way back. So when you see that Founders building on the highway, that's just the very, very front. Yep. Just a tiny little piece. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then the house that we acquired back there, it was a family home that we fixed up a little bit. And that's where our instructors would stay one at a time. We could bring in one out-of-town instructor at a time to stay there. And then they would stay with people all over town. We would be calling around, and people would stay at Eleanor's house or Mary's house. And
y'all made it work for so many years. My goodness.
Yeah, you make it work. So then after we got that, then you can go to the next one, and we built the iron studio, which is the inside of the iron studio. Huge deal. So then we were able to add on blacksmithing and welding and metal fabrication. There's 2015 is when we added on to the small metals. And then we also got, we call it Hill House, which still is where I am now, in 2014, another, former home right there by the highway that now has our administration building in it. So we were able to move the staff out of the Founders and add more class space in there.
Right.
So,
yeah,
so that was a big deal too.
Big deal.
Yeah. Go to the next one.
Okay.
And all of these, every time there was a new a building, it was all volunteers and just so many people coming in and cleaning out and painting and, fixing up and fixing the landscaping.
Just an incredible history of everybody giving of themselves. Incredible
Absolutely.
history.
Thousands of people and local artists and volunteers that have made all of this happen for all this time. So then in 2017, we were able to add on the wood studio. So this picture is of the outside of the wood studio and the iron studio. So you can see
big expansion.
big expansion. And so, and that actually, that grand opening was, I'd only been here for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And so what an exciting thing to start with,
I
you
know,
know,
right?
like, you know, again, it was like designed by Dave McKee, who is a regional architect. He worked, he was a protege of Faye Jones, if you're familiar with the architecture that did Thorn Crown Chapel.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Doug Stowe, one of the founders, designed that. And we had, again, an army of volunteers coming in to put together equipment and build tables and install everything, and just armies of volunteers.
Y'all have moved mountains, literally.
Mm-hmm. That
Haven't
actually
you?
did take moving a mountain.
It did. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. It did. You
exactly.
moved a mountain to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so yeah, next one is then 2020, which weird year. But so for in 2020, we started this project in 2019. We added to our campus 4 duplex cottages, and that's for our instructors. So now we can have up to 8 instructors get come in from out of town at a time, and it's for artists in residence. So we can have artists come and stay and, you know, do focused work for weeks or even months at a time. We have a place for them to stay. So this was kind of funny though, because we started this in 2019. We finished them at the beginning of March 2020.
Right when it all
And
hit, the pandemic.
and then 2 days
Woo!
before the first person was supposed to come stay, we closed.
Yep.
So, but that that's starting to seem long ago. So now we've had many artists in residence, many instructors come and stay.
Yeah.
And right now we're doing a renovation of that, you know, first family home that we bought back there. That's going to make it a really nice gathering space for them. So
Nice. Wow. So that's currently underway now. The renovations in that house.
that's currently underway
Okay.
now.
Wow.
Yeah. So
My
that's going to be
goodness.
the next big fun thing. We'll
Wow.
invite everybody out to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that really, you know, kind of brings us to today. Here we are
25
celebrating
years.
5 years. And you can see this, then the whole overview, the
Yeah.
map. That number 1 is the Founders Building, the very first building, that one building,
Mm-hmm.
1 acre. And number 2 is the Small Meadows.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 3, we got the Hill House.
Mm-hmm.
4 is the Iron and Wood. And then towards the back, you've got 5 through 8 is the cottages. And then number 9 is our Commons House. And 10, that was used to be a pool house gazebo, and now
Mm-hmm.
it's our facilities.
Okay. Okay.
So,
So
and this
all these years,
a
all
small
these years,
amount of our campus, but
it's
the part
it's huge though. I mean, so the last house, the Walter Penn Studio, is that at the very very back of the property, or does it
that's
continue to go?
it's the very back, and so our property does continue to go a little bit, but things do here in the Ozarks,
Uh-huh.
it goes straight down.
Straight down. Got it.
From there. And then there's more property to the side behind
Okay.
those cottages, but
Okay.
it also goes precipitously down. And so that makes it incredibly peaceful and
Sure.
beautiful back
Absolutely.
there. The
Absolutely.
view is just stunning. And
Yeah.
so when people go stay back there, it's really a retreat for our instructors and our artists in residence, where, you know, there's all this bustle and activity at the front of campus with classes and all these things, and then they go and it's this very quiet space where they can, you know,
Yeah.
visit with each other and exchange ideas and be in nature and be inspired and renewed. So,
Well, you know, the boom has been incredible for you guys and all of the things that you've been able to accomplish. And in the scheme of things, 25 years, you know, look how much you've done in 25 years. I
a
can't
lot.
imagine what you're going to be doing in the next 25. I mean, what else is there left on your wish list after having done all of these wonderful movements in such an incredible and short amount of time, really? You know, what's left for you that's a big part of the wish list? What's the grand picture now, Kelly?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you, you know, our original building, our Founders Building, we still have that's our one sort of really good multi-purpose studio. So in that studio, we do painting and drawing and felting and stained glass and photography and sculpture and I'm forgetting like a dozen other things. We do all in that studio. And so this is, you know, a, a problem is that we sell out because there's more demand for these opportunities than we have kind of space and calendar space to put it in. And so, you know, if we have any wishes, it's going to be for more space in which to offer these experiences, more spaces for us to, you know, to offer more programming for veterans. We do a lot of veterans programming. We do a youth program where we bring in school groups and do things for them. We want to offer more opportunities for artists in residence to have dedicated spaces in which to work. And so
at least a couple of more buildings, sounds like.
Sure.
At least a couple more.
At least a couple more.
At the very least, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, you have become so, the expanse of what you've been able to accomplish with all the people that are coming and being a part. What are some of the things that people come in as an instructor? What are some of the first things people say to you once they are physically there on your campus? What are some of the feedback you get immediately from people?
Well, one of the things always is just how incredibly beautiful it is here in our community and how fun and quirky and interesting Eureka Springs is and how gorgeous the landscape is here. I mean, that's a lot of why all of us are here too. So, you know, of course, that's a huge part. And, you know, in a way too, I think we're sort of a best kept secret a little bit. ESSA is, we hear a lot of, oh, I thought it was just the two buildings on the highway. And I didn't know, you know, there was all this wonderful stuff on the rest of the campus that, you know, you've got to kind of come and see it and see it to believe it a little bit. But people always talk about how welcome they feel by the community and just that they're going to go tell all their friends.
And that's exactly how this is how everything works in Eureka. People find out about us, and we're no longer the best kept secrets, are we? Well, Kelly, I appreciate you kind of bringing that. This was wonderful for me to see the progression like this. So thank you for putting this all together for us to kind of walk through the years. That was very interesting. Thank you for putting it together. I have
to say too, like it's just the tip of the iceberg of all of the people.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I hear that from you. Yes.
I mean, just hundreds and thousands of people who have just given so much of their time and money and artworks to auctions and
incredible support
and just work because they've believed in this and loved it and enjoyed it. That this is and you'll hear, you know, Doug or Mary or other people who've been here for a long time say this is how you know that this is a good idea, because people get so involved and they love it so much. I mean, things grow because they're watered, right? And because people love them. And so all of us who work here, we just feel super fortunate all the time to be here, because there's so many people that they just find a lot of joy in being here and helping. And what a great place to
be. Well, you've just created everyone has created such a wonderful space for people to be a part of the arts, and we're just so fortunate that we have it right here in our backyard, and we love the fact that you do introduce it to so many people to come to town. And I just want to say thank you to you and to the incredible board that you have now, and for all of the donors who, if you're watching, this is the fruit of your gifts, what you have been able to help us create here locally and nationally now. I think you are on the national scale for sure. And so I can't wait to see what ESSA does in the future and can continue to grow. We're going to get those buildings built. More people to come to sit at the table and to discover.
We're manifesting that.
We're putting it out there. We're going to put it out there in the world right now today. So if you're listening out there and you've got a few $1,000s sitting around, you want to help us build a few buildings more here on the ESSA campus, get in touch with Kelly here at www.essa.art.org. We will take care of those dollars and put them to wonderful use, won't you, Kelly?
We do. You can help with scholarship funds.
Yes.
There's all kinds of ways to help.
Yes. Thank you for keeping the arts alive in Eureka Springs and beyond, Miss Kelly. Thank you for all that you
And
do.
thank you for getting the word out on so many wonderful things. We appreciate you.
It's very selfish of me. I just miss talking to all and figuring out what's all going on in my backyard. And it's always nice to talk to you and you bring me up to speed. And we'll talk again with you next month so that you can bring us even more news of what's going on out there. We'll be excited to hear what's going on next month. So we'll check in with you again. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye, hon. All right, so ESSA, ESSA-art.org. You guys jump on the internet, type in that address and check them out, because the Eureka Springs School of the Art is definitely one of those people that we really consider one of the good people, the good folks, the good people, and the good places, and the good news, I'll get it out, of here in Eureka Springs. Thank y'all for watching us, and share this segment so that we can spread the word about our little piece of paradise here in Eureka Springs. Thanks for joining us, guys. Bye-bye.